Hi, thank you so much for being here today. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing this week is a thrifted ghost painting. I don't know if y'all have heard about this trend, and I cannot believe I haven't. So what it is people are going in and they're finding old sort of paintings, vintage paintings or just abandoned paintings, whatever, that have like a scene in them. And they're inserting painted ghosts into the scene. So they're turning them into sort of like, they're calling them thrifted ghost paintings. And it's such a cute idea and the results are so cute. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. And so I can't believe I've missed this. I'm a painter, I thrift all the time, I love Halloween. So I know for at least 4 years this has been going on, so I have no idea how I missed this. But anyway, I'm gonna do my own thrifted ghost painting this week and I'll show you what I got up to. All right, so let's get started. Like I said, this is a trend or a craft that's been going on for a while. So you can see somebody picked up this cute vintage country painting and they put these little ghosts on it. I love how translucent they did the ghost here. I think that's a cute scene. This looks like an overpass that you see, and I see them on the East Coast, these bridge overpasses, and they put these cute little chunky ghosts. I think they look really cute. And I like this one because you don't expect to see ghosts at the beach, and especially not pumpkins or Halloween, but I think it's fun that they did this, especially if you live in like a beachy area. And somebody did this really cute, it looks like it's a spring or a summer scene, and they just made it more, they put fall foliage there and they added more fall colors and the ghost, of course. All right, so this summer, and once I found out about this, I decided to, well, I'm always looking for wall art. I like to, sometimes I just use it for the canvas, and like for this, I don't particularly care for the painting here, but I do like the canvas. So I'm always, looking around. I saw this at a thrift store. I thought that could have been really cool if you made it into more of a fall scene. But I ended up choosing this one. These were big pieces, so I didn't want to get both of them. So I chose this one because it looks like that diagonal alley in Harry Potter. I also had this painting because I love how beautiful that frame is. This isn't a name artist. They didn't sign it. This is a name artist, and I was doing research on it. I could tell it was really nicely done. I wasn't going to paint over this. I'm just showing you this as an example. Always look for the artist. Always do research because you might have a real collector piece on your hand. I have found a few. Okay, so this one I could tell it wasn't signed. I felt the canvas. It's not even a canvas. I could tell it was a print because it feels a little bit more plasticky, and you know if you kind of touch a real canvas, it's a little bit bumpier. This was a print. I didn't know how the paint was going to take on to it, but I just love the image, and I did check on the back to see what was going on, and it's just a TJ Maxx cheap printed piece of art, and I did not feel guilty about going in, and I'm not painting over another artist's work, so I'm good to go. Unlike these two, I went ahead and did some more research on them. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you're gonna paint it, you're gonna get painter's tape and make sure that you secure if it has a frame, secure it so the paint doesn't get all over that part, obviously. And that's the first thing that you're going to want to do. And that's what I did. I just kind of slapped it on there so I could get going with the other parts of it, the painting, so I didn't have to be so careful. So I'm finishing up my painter's tape. I'm getting it all securely covering that area. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my black paint and really water it down, and I'm going to put a black wash over everything because I want this to look like it's at nighttime, and since we're painting a ghost, I don't want it to have to compete with all of the light colors around it. And since Halloween, it feels like always a nighttime thing for me anyway, and so I wanted to get rid of all of anything that makes it feel like it was daytime, or if there was too much competing light, so the pumpkins and the ghost wouldn't, so they could stand out. But it was really difficult because this isn't a true canvas. Like I said, when I found it, I could feel that it was more of a plastic, so I knew I was going to have a little bit of a challenge with that. So it wasn't soaking into the paint wasn't soaking into the canvas or like it normally should. It was kind of resting on top. So I was having some difficulty, and so I had to keep kind of going in and making sure that it was gonna work. And it was just a process. And I think I finally just let it dry because I realized it was just sitting on top of, it was more of a plastic than a canvas. And it was just, I was just kind of battling with it. And I think I finally went in with a shirt, and I just kind of rubbed it in because it was just not really working. So the next thing I did was I went in and I put these little, I added some, what do you call it, some glow to the windows to make it look like it was in the evening, and that sort of helped, you know, make it feel like it was more of a nighttime scene. So I just kind of went in there and just kept adding that glow into the windows of the spaces that I was seeing, and that helped, and I feel like that makes it look more like Halloweeny and at night. But it was a balance I just had to keep working with, and I just kept going for it and just darkening the background, and then putting more light in those windows to give it that feeling of night. The next thing I did was I went in and I started to add these witches. Once I got all the glow in the window, I thought these witches would look really cool, against it, highlighted it against it. So I did that, and I love these acrylic markers because you can just go in and sketch. It feels like you're just sketching in your sketchbook. I don't take it as seriously as when I bring out my paint. It just feels more like I'm sketching. So it frees me up a little bit, and you can get the detail and plan a little bit more than I can with painting. If this is maybe just a me thing, I just feel more at ease when I'm using a brush like this or a pen. It frees me up, and I don't know. I feel like I guess I start paintings by drawing, and so it helps me to go in there and just lay it out just like I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get all the perspective right, where the witches are going to go, how high their hats are with their perspective and all that kind of stuff. And it looks pretty good to me. So the next thing I want to do is go in and actually block it out with the black paint. So I did bring my brush and I just started filling in because I wanted to see how they ultimately looked all painted up against this background. So I just went and filled those in, and the paint was sticking better now because I had that base coat. So I stopped having to struggle against that canvas because it was adhering to that layer of paint that I put down. So anyways, I just kind of kept going in and trying to clean it up. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm not super precise. I always just kind of go in really loose, and then I clean it up and, you know, do more detail as I proceed. And this is just like I normally do. So yeah, once I get the paint on it, it helps me see the design, like how it's all going to work. Like like all the black witches on one side, it's going to kind of create a design, and I want to see how that looks. I can already tell I'm loving it. So I just kind of keep going in and doing it, and just make sure I'm filling them all in, and see, I love it. I think it looks so cute. Like I said, that design of all those little those black areas of color against the gray and the yellow, it's looking really good. My artist eye is loving it so far. All right, so I'm just kind of taking it all in, seeing what we need to do next, and I believe I am just going to kind of add more detail, and I'm trying to figure out what it needs. I still think it needs to be darker, but I believe what I do is I went back in there and I thought it needed a tree. So I started to put a spooky tree back in that corner there because I felt it would look cute against the window panes if I had some branches. So I'm just kind of putting the tree in because I don't know, I just can't, I don't know, I call them Halloween trees, like just spooky dark trees. And so I'm just adding that up. There's a better shot, and you know, trying to fill out that corner. I just thought that needed a little bit of something, and I just kept going, and I went back and, you know, filled that in a little bit more, and I'm liking the way that looks. I love the way that looks, actually. It kind of balances out the witches too. So I'm showing, and I put that little cat, it looks like a little rat right now, this sign, and I added some pumpkins over here, just kind of indicated where I want them to go, and I put that light, and I kind of worked on the witches a little bit more, maybe filled them in. And so I'm just kind of seeing where we're going and what I need to do. And I'm just showing you that I maybe put a little bit more details or lightened the windows a bit. And the next thing I'm doing is I am just kind of going back. Oh, and I wanted to add some faces to the witches, and I thought they should be, you know, kind of pale. And so I added sort of like a pale color, and I changed this because I think it was a little too light. But I went ahead just and blocked it out to see how they would look, and kind of just gave me an idea, you know, of how it was all going to balance out, like design wise. And I was okay with it, but I kept changing the colors on the witches, as you'll see as I go on. As you can see, these witches look like they've been to Cabo or something. They're a little tan, so I wanted to make them a little bit more pale, and so I just gave them a little bit of a wash. And I'm just trying to say, yeah, they're too tan. Witches aren't that tan. So I just kind of went in there and I'm just trying to see the color, how it's looking. All right, so, you know, so far so good. And let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm still not loving that. I still think it's too light. So I just kept going in and working in with that dark color and just to see if I could bring it down. And I feel like we finally got there, but I was also worried about washing out too much detail, which I think actually did happen, but it's okay. In the end, it worked out, but here I am just trying to balance it out a little bit more. I'm still struggling with it, but I ended up getting there. You can see I'm kind of washing the bricks away, but it really does need it because it just I wasn't getting that nighttime feeling. But so I just had to keep going in there and struggling with it and just keep adding it so it would dry and I could do a little bit more on top with that. Okay, so I wanted to add a little bit more detail to the witches. They need some hair. So I just kind of went in there and just tried to clean them up a little bit and give them different kind of haircuts, and was thinking grays, and I didn't want to do any blondes. I wanted to do grays, brown, and some black, I think. But I just kind of kept working with their hair and adding the black, and then in the end I go in and I really clean them up. This is just to give me an idea, actually. And you can see I have a lot of areas to clean up, but I think they're looking pretty good, and I'm just going to keep going in and adding more hair to them. Okay, so yeah, I feel like that one she needed a little bit more of brown hair to contrast against the black robes, and I think for this one as well, I decided to do a little bit more of a brown look for her, to style her a little bit differently. Okay, and I just kept going on and making sure that their hair was looking, they all had hair at least, just to see how it was going to balance out. And I always have to pull away, like I like to put it in and then just pull back, and I think I changed that because I thought it contrasted too much with the back, with the glow of the windows. So it's just all trial and error, and you just have to keep stepping back to make sure you're getting it. And I think I changed these witches were the biggest challenge because I didn't feel like their faces were the right color, and it just wasn't coming together. So it was trial and error with these guys. But anyways, all right, so I kind of went back and I wanted to give that tree some more detail and clean it up, and this is when those acrylic pens really come in handy. So this one was looking pretty good to me, but I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. And it's just one of those things, I just kept going back and cleaning up, and I think it's looking pretty nice. And I went in and filled in, kind of cleaned it up. I just want to get an indication of where I want all of the branches to go. And I think it looks I love seeing it against the glow of the windows, how it's looking. And I think I needed to clean up that cat poster or the sign, because the head, I don't know, it was not looking like a cat. So I went back and finished that. But for now, I'm just working on these branches. And I decided to do a tree on the other side to balance it out because I thought it looked so nice on this side, and it just gave it a sort of an organic feel with all those, since it's such a street scene, and we don't have any trees, and I feel like you kind of need them. All right, so here I am on the other side. I'm deciding to add a tree over here, and I clean it up later, but and give the branches some thicker branches. But you can see I'm just going in and working, and it looks so nice against that window. And it is a mess, but I promise you I cleaned it up, and I'm thinking that looks really pretty. I don't know, I like doing trees. I don't know, there's something very calming about doing all the branches. So I went in and I just continued that, and I added some pumpkins, as you can see, all over. And I am just, oh, and you can see I added a witch back there in the background. And I really wanted to see if I could make her look more like she was in the distance. And I'm going to fill her in and give her a nice wash so she can stand. Okay, so I'm adding just some more black paint to the witch, and I added some more gold to the windows to make them like highlight. And I also added this witch you see in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I sort of made those a little bit lighter. I fixed that black cat sign. I started to add some signage to, more witchy signage. So I washed out all the signs you can see, so I could go in and change the color and just add some more, make it feel like a little bit more of a witch village than France. Okay, so the next thing I did was I went in and just sort of filled her in a little bit so she looked like the other witches, and just gave her, painted her black, gave her a little bit more of a shape. So that's what we're doing here, and she's looking good. And I'm still not loving the witches at the cafe. They needed some work. So with this painting, I kind of had to let everything dry in between days. So I think this was day 2. And then I had to let it dry overnight. And then I worked on the witches the very last day, just because this was such a funky kind of canvas to work on. All right, so they're looking good. I'm adding more paint to her, just give her a little bit more shape. And then what I decided to do was I thought that if you were at a witch cafe, you wouldn't really have candles on the table. You'd have little jack-o'-lanterns that glowed. And so I just added little pumpkins to each table, and I was going to go in and give them a little bit more, detail and help them along. But I love pumpkins. I love jack-o'-lanterns. I think they're so fun. I love the glow of it. It's such a nice warm glow. Anyway, I thought witches would use those. And there I am, just sort of adding them to each table to see how that's going to look design-wise. And I think that I know it's going to look great, because you've got gray, you've got black and orange, and it's all going to look, see, it looks so pretty against those windows. I did not think this was going to work. When I first started doing it, I thought I made a mistake and I was going to have to go over and redo it. But I lost so much of the brick road because I had to keep painting over it. So I just kind of quickly indicated bricks, and from a distance it looks pretty good. You'll see there it doesn't look good. All right, so there's the sign. I added some pumpkins up on the top on the windowsills. I added a cat. There was an alarming lack of black cats. There's another one. And you can see I painted their faces green, which I didn't really like. I named one place the Zodiac, and I think I have another. Yep, there's another cat over there. There's all the pumpkins, and I added some little ghosts on the signs. And I'm just sort of, oh, there's the black cat. It's like a black cat store or something like that. Spells, I'm writing it on there. And you can see that whoa, I don't know where I'm going. Anyways, I decided to go in there and calm that green down. I wasn't loving that. I think I made it more of a gray green, just because, yeah, it looks more like a gray green. The other green was too bright. They were looking like Kermit the Frog, and this feels better to me. So anyways, I keep doing that, and I'm just trying to tone it down a bit, and I think I succeeded. I think they start to look a lot better to me. All right, so here we are, and it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to work on the ghost, since this is the ghost painting. So the street seems dark enough. I like those bricks. So what I want to do is I'm just going to give it a thin wash, and you can see in the background I added some faces to the witches. I cleaned them up a bit. I think they're looking pretty good. I worked on those pumpkins a bit. So yeah, I'm liking the way their faces and their hair look. It's good enough. So now I'm just going to keep giving this pumpkin a little bit of a wash. I don't want to go too heavy because I want him to be a little translucent, and just give him kind of a sweepy shape. And since he's the star of the show, I was a little nervous to do him. So I went in and I got a different brush, and I just kind of was trying to give him a little bit more of like a translucent feel at the end, but you know, some structure up top. And so he was requiring some work, and I just kind of kept going with him, but it's looking pretty good to me. So then I just kind of kept going on top and adding, and I'm loving the way he looks. I need to give a little bit more to the top. And the whole thing was just to give him structure, but keep him translucent. That's kind of trickier than I thought it was going to be. And I added a ghost over here, like I pretended like this ghost was in the window, just chilling out. And same thing, same kind of idea with that guy. And so I like the way that's looking. I like and I wanted to give him a little bit of a shadow so that he's kind of floating along, like he has some kind of a presence to him, you know, so just to give him a little bit more of a base. And I feel like that kind of works. I think it just makes him look like he's floating, and I have to keep working at it. But there it is. I think it's looking so good. And you can see all the signs that I put up, and I don't know. And yeah, I had toads and frogs and all that stuff. Ghost Cafe, magic. I love the way the trees look. And Witch Bar. The Zodiac. If you ever watched a movie called Bell, Book, and Candle, oh, there's another ghost up there. The name of the club that Jimmy Stewart and I think Kim Novak met at was called the Zodiac. It's about witches. It's a great movie. Anyways, I think it's looking really good. I love our little ghost floating along. I think he looks great. Love the cats. I think we cleaned up the witches enough. I put a little spooky spider web under that cat near the place called Spiders. I think it's looking good. I like it. I love the way the pumpkins kind of glow. They definitely look like they're glowing. Okay, this is where it's going to live. It's going to live on my daughter's piano, and I have the gourds there so that it doesn't slide forward. It just kind of holds it in place. And they're looking so cute. I love that ghost. He turns out exactly. He has substance to him, and I love that. The witches are a nice shade of green. I love all the witch signs, and I love the pumpkins. They look like they're glowing. That little ghost up there in the corner, I think he's kind of cool. And I had so much fun with this. I want to do something for Christmas because I had such a blast doing this. I was thinking something with snowmen, but anyways, for Halloween this year, this is our new addition to our decorating. Oh, there's the spider web. There's the cat. There's the other cat with glowy eyes. And we got one more over here. Yeah, they're so cute. All right, thank you so much. I had so much fun doing this. I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. I had so much fun doing these little paintings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up with an idea for Christmas because this was too much fun. But anyway, stay tuned and keep checking back to this channel. We have a lot more things coming up, and have a great week, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.